This is QTV News. I am Umudu Gajaga and thanks for joining us. Coming up tonight, rapper Killer Ace and 36 others trial transfer to the High Court. Former British Prime Minister Tony Blair meets President Barrow. Police officers are undergoing training to build their capacities as upholders and enforcers of the rule of law. Students of the American International University gathered in Jufure for a maiden Students' Week. And a special tribute to new queen of the track, Gina Bass, our Babakar C, took an in-depth look at her career. For more on this and other stories, stay tuned. Welcome and thanks for joining us. This is QTV News. The Kanifing Magistrates Court today decided to transfer to the High Court in Banjul a case involving 36 youth, most of whom are Gambians. The court cited its lack of jurisdiction to hear capital offence cases. Mamadou Lamin Choi attended the court proceedings and he now files in this report.
It is the second court appearance of 37 youth allegedly involved in crimes which include unlawful assembly and demolishing properties belonging to the police and civilians. Early in the morning, riot police officers in full gear descended at the court premises before the arrival of family and friends of the accused persons. Magistrate Donjai, who presided over the case, outlined the court's position, saying that the Kanifing Magistrates Court does not have any jurisdiction to hear cases where there are charges involving capital offences. After clarifying her position by citing sections of the laws of the Gambia, she ruled that the case be transferred to the High Court Special Criminal Division in Banjul, which has jurisdiction over such matters. Magistrate Donjai also added that pending hearing by the High Court, the Kanifing Magistrate Court lacks the jurisdiction to grant bail to the 37 accused persons, who will therefore remain remanded in custody. Appearing for the prosecution, MD Mbalo informed the court that 7 of the 37 remanded had escaped from what he described as lawful custody. According to the prosecutor, they were arrested and additional charges laid against them for the offence. He went further to reveal that one of the escapees reported back today. Some activists and others who were present outside the court were not happy about the way the accused persons were handled as they were being ushered back into the vans at the end of today's proceedings by the riot police officers. Speaking to journalist Asad Martin, one of the defense lawyers called on the prosecution to review and reconsider life sentence charges against the accused persons to facilitate a smoother court process.
Some of the charges are not helping. They are not helping in the current situation. This is what the charges for, which are very, life sentence charges. These are charges that definitely they won't help, because remanding these people, refusing them bail, it will always compound the problem in our current situation. My advice is that generally is for them to review. This is what we have discussed with the prosecution the last time, that review the charges. There are certain charges that will not help. The charges for, that carry life sentence charges. So it will not help in the current situation.
The defense team and prosecution lawyers held closed-door talks, presumably for negotiations on the charges. After waiting more than half an hour for the outcome of the talks, a group of angry youngsters, possibly associated with activists, swiftly initiated a very brief protest march. The High Court is in recess and will resume next month. Mamadou Lamin Choi for QTV News.
Former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, whose Institute for Global Change has an office in the Gambia, paid a courtesy call on President Adama Barrow during a brief visit to the country. Mr. Blair has strong links with the Gambia and acted as host when President Adama Barrow made his maiden appearance at Chatham House in London in April 2018. Here is an excerpt of his visit.
So I had an excellent discussion with the President about the work that my institute is doing here in partnership with the presidency, focused on issues around delivery, how we improve the lives of people here, focusing on things like electricity and water and agriculture, roads and so on. I think the Gambia has made huge progress in recent times. You've got high growth rates. You know, tourism is up substantially. There are still obviously big challenges, but you know, I found the president very focused on those, and I'm very optimistic about the future of the country.
A new African queen was crowned for the women's 200 meters. Gina Bass clocked a timing of 22.58 seconds to win gold, beating one of her role models and an African veteran sprint legend, Marie-José Talou, for the first time ever in the just concluded African Games in Morocco. The Gambian, having competed with José Talou on more than 4 occasions, had a splendid time at the Games, bagging a silver medal in the women's 100 and setting up the new national records in the 100 and 200 meters. Her time of 11.3 seconds and 22.58 seconds also qualifies her for the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games in the 100 and 200 meters. In a special tribute to the new African track queen, our Babakar Sy took an in-depth look at her career.
Born on the 3rd of May 1995, Gina Bass came to the limelight in 2016 when she became the first Gambian female athlete to qualify to the Rio Olympic Games with a standard time. She achieved that feat thanks to winning a bronze medal in the 200-meter finals at the 2016 African Championships. At the 2016 Summer Olympics, she placed 52nd in the 200 meters heats and did not qualify for the semi-finals.
No, I'm not satisfied because it's not a good thing to me. But my next target is that when I close my season, I need to work harder. So that, because my end of my season is always poor, so I need to work on that.
With the experience gained at the Rio Olympics, she became better prepared when the following year she headed to the Islamic Games in Baku, Azerbaijan. She became the first Gambian ever to win a gold medal at the Islamic Games in the 100 meters and silver in the 200 meters. Gina then ended her 2017 campaign at the World Championship in the United Kingdom, an outing she would prefer to forget after failing to break through in what she described as a continued thigh injury she had been battling for months. In 2018, Gina took part in the Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, Australia in both the 100 and the 200 meters. There, she also missed out on the medals, finishing 4th in the semi-final, though bore out of the competition with her head held high that she had much more to offer. In modern sports, award winners are fitted with all manner of accolades. For top athletes, this can come in the form of a fleet of cars, mansions. You'd expect this to be what awaits Gina following her latest outstanding accomplishment. Sadly, this is likely to be far from the reality, with the Gambian sensation one of the poorest.
In my country, they call me the poorest Olympian, but I accept it. I don't have a car. I don't have like a house. The government, they don't treat athletes like the way they treat the footballers. They give them a lot of money and all of them will have a house. But for us, we suffer before getting the allowance that they do give us. So it's really hard to us, the athletes.
2019 will be a remarkable year and one to remember for the 24-year-old, as she stole the headlines in Rabat at the 12th edition of the African Games going to Morocco. She had a combined target to win a medal and qualify for the World Athletics Championship in Doha. Having qualified for the final of the 200 meters, she still bore in mind that she would be facing her idol and role model, Marie-José Talou, who defeated her in the 100 meters.
200 متر مستوي بالنسبة لعنصر السيدات والأمور في فترة 11 ساعة. الممر رقم 3 في المركز الأول الصغير في أمور الممر رقم 4. نعم، والممر رقم 5 حسن آرمين أويو سيري شيلو 22 ثانية 57.
Gina mustered the courage to stand her ground and ended up defying the giant of Africa Talou in an epic race that saw her rewriting the national records of the Gambia. Far from being the emotional type that would break through in sheer delight, overwhelmed at attaining a towering mark, Gina merely waved occasionally and hugged her fellow competitors, having reduced 30-year-old Talou to a desolate figure who went limping off, having finished not second but third. Time now for the newly crowned queen to head to Doha, where she will be joined by other African sprint queens. The World Athletics Championship, it is the stage of the creme de la creme for the athletes and Africa's finest female sprinters. Ivorian Marie-José Talou, Nigeria's Blessing Okagbari, Gambia's Gina Bass and Egypt's Hamida Bassant will all be in attendance. The world had a feel of what Africa's fastest women are capable of at the African Games, where all these names thrilled and excited the crowd at the Moulay Abdullah Stadium, with each taking at least a medal.
Going beyond the four corners of the classroom and university premises, students representing the different faculties of the American International University, West Africa, are gathering for a Students' Week in Jufure. Aliou Cisse has more details.
The Students' Week, the first by the university, seeks to strengthen the bond among the students in the university with the theme Cultivating Ethical Leadership. The students, many of whom are medical and nursing students, will among other things engage in a health fair. Over 150 people of the host community are expected to be screened for different sicknesses. Jarga Igay, president of the Iowa Students Union, urged the students to make best use of the outing.
We are able to get young people oriented well about how ethical standards are built and how they can subsume to those ethical performances. We will be able to do right things. Right thing not tomorrow, but it starts now. It starts from when we go back to school. You're supposed to study when you're supposed to study. You're supposed to take your exams in the right way when you do your exams. You're supposed to build and instill attitudes in you that will help you to become an introvert, an extrovert that will serve as a mentor to most of the people that you will work with.
Motivational speaker and writer Mamadou Sabali, the guest speaker, emphasized leadership, urging the students to aspire to become good and ethical leaders. A good leader, he said, must be honest, respectful, and open to opposing views.
And I like the quotation that the late Deda Haidara once made on the Point newspaper. He says, the body goes where the head leads it. Now, did you hear that? The body goes where the head leads it. So if we are not faring well as a nation, how good is our leadership? So I am not interested in talking about ethical leadership. I just want to talk about leadership. Whether it's ethical or not, at least let's have leadership. I think there is a huge vacuum in leadership in this country.
The students will also discuss issues affecting them. They are also expected to visit historical sites in Jufure, including James Island, to widen their knowledge. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
We will take a short commercial break. When we come back, the news continues.
Light. From the beginning of time, light has been there.
It is integral to our survival and to our way of living.
We need light to work,
to build,
to grow things, and even to see our loved ones.
Light makes things easier and better.
So QCell has changed the way you buy QPower to make it easier and more accessible.
You can now access the same service quickly and get your cash power tokens instantly with the new QCell QPower code.
To light up your world, simply dial *363#.
With a touch of your fingers,
with ease and convenience from the comfort of your home or office,
you can bring light into your world instantly with *363#.
QPower, lighting your world.
QCell Sunyabus.
We innovate, others follow.
It is the new era in broadcasting. We showed it to you with our continuously improving content with thousands of viewers around the world. Now, how do you take advantage of our existing and constantly increasing viewership advertise with QTV and reach a large audience. Call us on 3244 or email marketing@qtv.gm. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter or Instagram. QTV Gambia. QTV, a new era in broadcasting.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. A 3-day capacity building training for 30 police officers organized by the Gambia Human Rights Commission is currently underway at a local hotel in Bijolo. Ansumana Isonyasi reports.
As part of its efforts to deliver on a key aspect of its mandate, which involves building the capacities of those tasked with upholding and enforcing the rule of law, the Gambia Human Rights Commission on Monday commenced a 3-day training for 30 police officers. In an interview with QTV, Emmanuel Daniel Diouf, chairman of the Gambia Human Rights Commission, said the police play a key role in law enforcement in the country, and as such, bearing in mind the country's recent history in which law enforcement officers are alleged to have perpetrated rights violations, the Commission therefore deemed it fitting to build the capacity of officers, especially those involved in the arrest and detention of suspects. In a statement read on his behalf by his deputy, Abdullah Sanyang, the Inspector General of Police, Mahmoud Job, said the police hierarchy wants to rebrand the Gambia Police Force. He also said the training will help close the knowledge gap of officers, especially on matters relating to protection and promotion of human rights. Corporal Sophie Bob is one of the participants, and she explains how this training will help her work. This 3-day exercise is expected to enhance officers' understanding of human rights. Ansumana Isonyasi for QTV News.
Mainly inhabited by Mandinka and Jola tribe, Sintet village is a community once terribly divided by the controversies of politics and tribalism. After much intervention from village elders, the now tight-knit community has decided to let bygones be bygones and direct their efforts instead towards communal work for the development of their community. Sintet's first marketplace is underway, wholly funded and constructed by the hard-working and resilient youth of the village. Aisa Jain tells us more.
Sintet village is located at the heart of Foni Jarol district in the Gambia's West Coast region. From first observation, this friendly, closely knit community with a population of 4,000 seems inseparable. However, history narrates a different and daunting story. In 2009, Sintet was in shambles as its people were victims of former dictator Jammeh's witch hunt, which randomly targeted poor elderly farmers, forcing them to drink a hallucinogenic liquid before beating and forcing them to confess to being witches. Consequently, many people lost their lives as a result of health issues, and survivors still suffer from anxiety. Today, Sintet has turned a new leaf as they have decided not to dwell on the horrific past. They are determined to direct efforts towards communal work by building a new marketplace for their community. Alcalo Lamin Baji shares with QTV News how this has become a possibility today.
This politics divided us, both the men, women, and the youths. So I stood firm to bring everybody together through the prayers of the elders of the village. Alhamdulillah, now everybody is aware.
This will be Sintet's first marketplace, and needless to say, a much-needed one. Nyaranding Jawara, a vegetable seller, expresses her enthusiasm for the promising structure.
The most important benefit of this market is that it will bring unity amongst us. In Sintet, there is no tribalism. We are all one. Before, we travel long distances to neighboring villages to sell our produce. As a result, we make no profit. When this market is established, we will make enough profit to even loan credits to customers.
To realize dreams for the betterment of their community, Sintet natives form a new association called the Sintet Development Project. Karamutamba, a native of Sintet and public relations officer of SDP, explains the coming about of the association and how funding is raised for projects.
It's a community initiative. So what we do, we charge each other at the end of every month $100. So like we registered some employees in the village. For example, if it's about 1,000 employees, you're talking about $100,000 at the end of every month. And if you accumulate that over a year, that will be up to $1.2 million. And with that, you can do whatever you want to do.
A positive, hard-working and goal-oriented community, Sintet residents believe that the future is promising as their thirst for development is unquenchable. This community believes in the system of Tesito, which means coming together for communal labor. The construction of a minor health care center without any assistance from the Gambian government is the pride of the community. Alcalo Lamin Baji makes the point that although Sintet wants to set an example for rural communities through the system of do-it-yourself, the community always has its door open to all donors and well-wishers. Other projects underway in Sintet include road construction, a water network, fencing of the mosque, health center expansion and upgrading, youth center, a town hall, and more vegetable gardens. For QTV News, I am Aisha Jan.
The 52 links under the Kanifing Municipality Red Cross branch began their Umoja summer camp today at the Banjulunding Upper Basic and Senior Secondary School. Lamin Dabo has more details.
The KM Red Cross branch kicked off their Umoja summer camp today with the theme Love. The 2019 Umoja summer camp is the third edition organized by the KM Red Cross branch aimed at grooming potential leaders for the branch. In her speech on the expectations about this year's camp, our BTA, the camp director, had this to say.
I am expecting that they will participate fully in our activities, ranging from about leadership, learning, as well as social activities. So, I believe that they will participate fully, learn in the classes, and later on disseminate the information that they learn in classes to the masses, especially the links.
The branch youth IEC chairperson Marabi Amfal Hydra shared the reasons for organizing such a camp, and he explained.
This year we said, now we want to ask the world, we want to ask the people, we want to ask the community, the government, we want to ask them about what they love about Red Cross, because Red Cross has really been given so many things. So we will also want to know what they really love about Red Cross so that we can keep on doing those things that they love about Red Cross, and that is why we choose this love.
The deputy head of the social committee, Fatu M. Seka, explained their roles designed to ensure a memorable camp for all the participants, and she went on to explain.
We are not only here for capacity building, but also to try to see how best can we help the young people to show their talent. That is the reason why we raised a social committee in this camp, where we'll be having social activity like drama competition, beauty pageant, we'll be having cultural night, because we believe that most of the young people nowadays forget a lot about their culture.
The KM branch chairman Mustafa Bite had this to say to both the parents and the participants attending the camp.
We think that this camp is very important and parents should allow their kids to join. We've benefited from this.
it helps you with the exposure, with the confidence, and with the right attitude. We expect the volunteers to continue what we've known them for, that is to be disciplined, to acquire the skills that they come here for, because the point is not just to play. Main reason for coming here is actually to learn a lot, because you can see their schedule is very tight. They basically have little time for room finance, so they should put themselves into it, learn as much they can, and they'll come out better like all of us did.
In shedding light on the steps taken by the Red Cross, the program manager of Gambia Red Cross Society, Abdullah Fai, explained.
We have witnessed these recent days a lot of floods that has affected a lot of you. Even there are some participants here whose houses were flooded. We can see that we have to prepare ourselves to see how best we respond to disasters. But we cannot do that without taking you through the process.
This year's Umoja Summer Camp registered 273 participants, out of which 153 are females. There are 9 thematic areas for this year's Umoja Summer Camp, namely leadership, training of trainers in dissemination, disaster management, harm reduction, intensive first aid, entrepreneurship, psychological first aid, reproductive health, and gender and diversity. For QTV News, Lamin Alaji Fandin Dabo.
Before we end this bulletin of the news, let's take a quick look at our main news stories. Rapper Killer Ace and 36 others trial transfer to the High Court. Former British Prime Minister Tony Blair meets President Barrow. Police officers are undergoing training to build their capacities as upholders and enforcers of the rule of law. Students of the American International University gathered in Jufure for a maiden Students' Week. And a special tribute to new queen of the track, Gina Bass, our Babakar C, took an in-depth look at her career. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news.